Okay. It's gonna look like an ad. Just watch. Just watch what is about to happen. No, this is not an ad for the game that's fake. It's actually real. What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today, thanks to Lars, he has built this Roseheart Fanatic to a very basic level. Of course, we don't have any Destiny transition and stuff like that. We'll probably test that out tomorrow, but we wanted to show off what this hero can do, and what this hero can do, as you guys saw in the very beginning, can look like one of the ads that we've seen Idle Heroes put out, where it's like, the new hero wall deck, it just like annihilates everybody with 999999999 damage. Well, Williams kind of has that type of ability. So let's go over what this hero can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight into the tree so we can get the full understanding of this hero. And we're going to start out with the ultimate skill, Bloom in the Rosy Sky. So this active skill attacks 2 random enemies one time, prioritizing any target that might have Silence Gag Order on it. For every 2 layers of Blood-Soaked Flower owned by Self, he's going to attack an additional time, dealing damage. For every 1 time the enemy is attacked repeatedly, they'll take an additional amount of damage 1 more time. When releasing active skills, for every 1 energy owned by Self, grants themselves a shield. If Self has 8 layers of Blood-Soaked Flower, which again, we'll talk about that part a little bit later, changes the active skill to Waterfall of Flowers. Consumes all 8 layers of this, and each one deals damage equal to 3200% attack damage to 3 random enemies, prioritizing any enemies that do have Gag Order on them. For every 1 time the enemy is attacked repeatedly, they will also take an additional 2000 damage 1 time. When releasing active skills, for every 1 energy, again, we're doing the whole shield thing. Absolutely crazy. With a 70% chance to inflict Parasitic Rose on 1 enemy. So that's pretty solid, because this ability will steal energy from the target constantly and absorb up to 100 total energy. This is what makes it absolutely crazy. The sheer number of attacks and the number that the attack does is actually very, very good. Tons of skill damage and everything. Really, really good. Of course, more all damage dealt on the pure sublimation, increases the active skill's shield value in deep, and then noble. Each attack of that Waterfall of Flowers, remember the buffed version, deals extra damage equal to 4% of the target's max HP. So many layers of damage. This ultimate skill pops off. However, a lot of this is going to matter on how you build this hero. Valve Blood, the basic attack is changed to deal damage to 1 or 2 random enemies with the most energy, or not random, 2 enemies with the highest energy, with a 70% chance to inflict Gag Order on them. That is the silence effect that is really good, and then they're also unable to use their active skill or crit, which is really, really awesome. If this infliction fails, there's an 80% chance to reduce the target's energy by 50, so it's not a 100% chance, still really good. And then, of course, you get 1 layer of that Blood-Soaked Flower that is very important. Pure, as always, gives that precision. Blood-Soaked Flower granted by Valve Blood is increased by 1 layer, so this changes it to 2 layers, which is very important for getting that active skill off in round 2. And then the noble version, that Valve Blood has an extra 50% chance to inflict that Parasitic Rose effect on the target. Now remember, Parasitic Rose, as we take a look right here, is that energy steal ability. So this is kind of like a carry transcendence hero in a way. Moving over to the next one, Embrace of the Wings of Thorns. When an enemy's energy reaches 100, there's a 70% chance to immediately inflict Gag Order on them for 2 rounds. Afterward, there's a 100% chance to gain 1 layer of Blood-Soaked Flower. So this is really important, where if the enemy reaches 100, so you kind of want to go against enemies that don't have 100 energy, but you want them to achieve 100 energy, because again, this is how we're going to get a very quick round 2 active skill with an 8 layer of Blood-Soaked Flower. That is very, very important. Moving over here, if Silence Gag Order is successfully inflicted, additionally reduces the target's damage reduction, which is really awesome. And the noble version, if Silence Gag Order is not inflicted, additionally increases your own damage reduction, which is pretty cool. Lastly, we have Heart Bleeding Blade. At the beginning of each battle, or when Self is in as a substitute, If self has 100 energy or more at the beginning, consumes all of them to make the enemy with the most energy lose their energy. So you can use that as a counter tool, and inflicts parasitic rose, which is going to continue to leech energy from that enemy, which is really cool. And again, here parasitic rose will steal energy from the target constantly and absorb it up to 100. If self has energy less than 100, you immediately get 3 layers of that blood-soaked flower. So 3 layers from that, you get 1 or actually 2 from your basic, bringing it up to 5. So that means you need 3 enemies to hit 100 energy, and that's going to give you your 8 for round 2, which is really, really awesome. You get to see here too, better description of parasitic rose. Bloom will appear and deal a bunch of damage as well, which is really, really cool. Beyond that, it also says at the beginning of each battle, if self has 100 more energy, there's a 50% chance to consume 50 to make the enemy with the most energy lose all the energy instead of 100. And the last one, parasitic rose, increases all allies' energy by 20 after it blooms. So that is really awesome. I love this kit so much. The only thing we can't look at right here is going to be the core of origin. So each time self releases active skills, grants all allies excluding himself this effect. For every 1 energy owned by self, grants them a shield, which is awesome. Really good survivability tool, which is really good because it doesn't matter what their power level is, they just get a shield equal to a percent of their max HP. And number 2, increases their holy damage by 20. That's really awesome because if you get it all the way up to level 8, you're going to be getting up to 50% holy damage for 2 rounds. And yeah, this is really, really awesome. This is one of the first heroes I'm very excited for, and I'm glad it's an Abyss Ranger that has this much potential. Now, if we do jump over to here, we can take a look at the Destiny transition skill as well. When self has 6 layers of transition power, you consume them and attack 10 times, each dealing 500% attack, so not a ton, but it is a random enemy. Afterward, there is a 100% chance to inflict silence gag order on 1 random enemy for 2 rounds. Besides that, inflicts divine retribution on enemies with gag order. Really, really awesome here. We have a nice AoE hit here. We have, of course, the 50% chance to reduce frontline energy and stuff like that, which is really cool. You have another one that can deal damage based on the lost percentage of HP, which is pretty awesome. The utility slot here also can increase the ally with the highest attack, which could be himself, could remove a buff from an enemy, or reduce the speed of the enemy team. This one's cool. For the enemy with silence gag order, additionally reduces their damage reduction by another 10%, so you can reduce it 30%, which is really cool. There's a 50% chance to twine the back row enemies. That's awesome CC effect. Or additionally increases all allies damage reduction, which is solid. Now the last damaging tier increases all damage dealt by 10%. That's usually what you're going to go with. And then if you get all the way to the end, the transition skill changes to when self has 12 layers of this power, consumes those 12 layers, and attacks 10 times for basically double the damage of the original version. Afterward, 100% chance to gag order 3 random enemies for 2 rounds. And then besides that, inflicts divine retribution on enemies with that gag order with an 80% chance to then also inflict them with parasitic rose. I think at the very least, this hero is going to be a meta-defining PvP hero. Might become even better in PvE. We're going to do a bunch of testing. Destiny transition is really what makes this go absolutely nuts and crazy, and is just really awesome. I love it. We're gonna have to see how powerful this hero is. I'm optimistic for once about a new Transcendence hero. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time.